Good evening, welcome to the Fantasy Formula One podcast. I'm your host, Paul, and tonight we are going to continue with our driver bios to the man who really needs no introduction, Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion. He drives the number one car for Red Bull, and we're just going to jump right into it. First off, this guy was dominant the whole season. We have, to the extent that no one has ever seen this level of dominance. The team Red Bull only lost between basically Max Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez. Between the two of them, they won every race except one. And that one race they didn't win, Ferrari did. So Max Verstappen was the most dominant driver, period. He was setting records. It is the sort of thing where you have the great drivers right now look not good, but it's not. But it's because Max Verstappen is just so once in a generation. But let's get into the numbers. Started out at 26.9 million, finished at 30 million. Value went up just a little bit, rounded off at a nice 30. He was the most expensive driver in the field, but you could not. He put up so many points that if you wanted a chance to win, you had to have Max Verstappen and you had to have Red Bull as a constructor. Okay, going to the races. There we go. So you're going to see a huge trend going on here. All right. Bahrain qualified first, finished first, 35 points. Saudi Arabia qualified 15th, finished second, 61 points. Remember, in fantasy Formula One, you get points for passing. So he started 15th, made it up to second. That right there, assuming he passed everybody only once, he got 13 points there. But as soon as you pass him, because this Red Bull is a passing machine, as soon as he passes everybody, then goes to the pits, the silver field goes past him, he comes back out of the pits. That doesn't count as him being passed, and he gets to pass the whole field again. So qualified 15th, finished second, 61 points behind his teammate Sergio Perez. Australia qualified first, finished first, 36 points. Azerbaijan qualified second, finished second, 37 points. And who did he finish behind? He finished behind Sergio Perez. United States Miami qualified ninth, finished first with 64 points. See? So as soon as you qualify 10, you finish number one, you get beaucoup points. Nothing happened in Italy, round 6. In Monaco, qualified first, finished first, 35 points, because he didn't pass anybody. In the 2023 season, Max Verstappen, after the first lap, if he was ahead of you, he would just leave. And you would never, ever, ever catch up with him. So, round 7, Monaco, first. Spain, first. Canada, first. Round 10, Austria, first. Round 11, Great Britain, first. Hungary, second, first. Qualified second, finished first. Belgium, round 13, first. Netherlands, qualified 10th, still came in first to win, and instead of the normal 35 points, he had 46 because he passed the whole field once and then left. And so what happens is, as soon as Max Verstappen, he gets like a 30-second lead on everybody. Well, then, as soon as it comes time for pits, he pulls into the pits and still comes out ahead of everybody. If he has clean air ahead of him, he is gone. The car he is driving, the Red Bull 19, the RB19, it was perfectly tuned to him, and his teammate Sergio Perez had some issues with it, and that'll be the topic for another podcast. But I want to stress that we're racing with people like Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is so savant-like, once in a generation good, that all these other amazing drivers start to pale in comparison. And it's very, very important to remember that all these world-class drivers are good, and your Ferraris and your Mercedes and all of these drivers have the capability to win and win the championship. But when you have somebody like Max Verstappen that's putting up twice the points everybody else is, it's very, very difficult. That was Netherlands round 14. Italy, Monza, qualified 15, and this is wrong. Man, I did it again. All right, hang on. He did not finish 13th, I promise you. There's Liam Lawson. Nico Hulkenberg finished where did Nico finish? 17th. Nico Hulkenberg, and then I'm guessing Oscar Piastri finished 12th. Yep. So Liam Lawson, who threw off, Liam Lawson, where'd he go? 11th. Sweet. Okay, that's all set up. So Max Verstappen qualified 15th, and this is crazy. Finished first, 38 points. I'm beginning to question if he actually, race first, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen qualified second. All right, I think some of my stats might be off a bit, man. Well, I hope I haven't been leading us too far astray. That's a little bit embarrassing. Liam Lawson, not sure how the hell that worked. Charles Leclerc qualified. Yeah, I'm just going to highlight these red. Punchline is he's doing great. How about that? So round 16 in Singapore, he did not do great. He finished 5th. In Japan, qualified. I don't see, now I'm starting to question some of these stats. So so Max Verstappen. I'm going to have to stop saying what people qualified for right now while I fix this, because he did not qualify 20th. He qualified first, I think. Yeah, qualified first. And all right, so if on other podcasts you hear me kind of drop what the qualifying is, that's what's going on. Because I want to get through. I want to talk about all this, but I need to adjust all this. So where did Liam Lawson? Oh, crap, where'd it go? Here we go. Max Verstappen. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of highlight this. Oh, well. So Max Verstappen finished first, got his 47 points, which is sick. In round 7, Qatar, Max Verstappen finished first, got 62 points. Did he actually qualify 16th here? If so, that'd be pretty cool. Nope, Logan Sargent did. Man. Anyway, I don't know why all for some reason my spreadsheet's starting to mess up. Or I'm messing up my spreadsheet. In Texas, he finished first. In Mexico, round 20, he finished first. Brazil, he finished first. Las Vegas, he finished first. And in Abu Dhabi, he finished first. So Max Verstappen was solidly dominant in the entire sport. And here comes the last bit of his stats. So he only passed 89 times, because very rarely was there anybody in front of him to pass. He passed 4 people per race. He was in the podium 21 of 22 races. 95% of the time he was in the top 10. He finished the top 10. Sorry, podiums. 21 out of 22 times. 95% of the times he was in the podium in the top 3. He was always in the top 10. He had 0 DNFs. He had 9 fastest lap awards. He had 3 driver of the days. He cost $30 million, 1,014 fantasy points, which means as soon as you had the Red Bull constructor, you get an additional 2,000, because 1,000 for Max, almost 600 for Sergio Perez, and then you have all the bonuses and stuff that go with the constructors. So Red Bull was just a dynamo. And if Fantasy F1 is going to try and do any changes, I hope they don't try and blunt this too much, because as soon as you force everybody to be the same, as soon as you have somebody like Max Verstappen that's just going to excel, then you let him excel. He had a 1.54 points per million over the course of the year. He was expensive, but you needed to have him because there was no other way to get that many points. I'm super excited for the 2024 season to see what Max Verstappen does. It's going to be him, and hopefully Lewis Hamilton is competitive. Hopefully, Fernando Alonso has his sights on it. Lando Norris and the rest of McLaren is geared up. So, and everybody, and here's a cool part. So, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, they were so dominant in that RB19 car that over the course of the year, the other constructors saw what they were doing and started adjusting their own car for it. So, and coming up in the 2024 season, it's very possible you have a bunch of cars that look surprisingly like an RB19. And then the question will be, what has Red Bull done? But it's very to improve on their own car. But it is very, very, very possible that there's a lot, like you even saw it. How about this? You even saw it in the last few races that early in the season, Max would just go ahead and leave everybody. But by the time towards the end of the season, the other cars were only a couple seconds behind instead of 30. And it's not because Max Verstappen was dropping off the pace. No, it's because everybody else was learning from what they had done to their cars just little by little, and are starting to gain on this Red Bull 19, which is why they're going on to the next iteration, and so we'll see how it all works. It's going to be a super exciting year for Max Verstappen to see because everybody's just coming at him. He's got a big target on his back, and he is such a good driver. He can outdrive a lot of people, but he needs to have a good car to do it, because if for some reason Mercedes or McLaren happens to just have it right and they can outperform Red Bull, it is very possible anything could happen, but it really won't. I anticipate Max Verstappen going for another really strong season, but everybody is gunning for it, and everyone's trying to get that spot. So it's going to be great just to watch Max Verstappen, watch him defend furiously against all these other people who are all capable of doing it. That is something I really want to drive home. All these drivers are world class, all right? Any given day, anybody can win. But there's a reason why Lewis Hamilton has won this many championships, right? There's a reason Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, the Ferraris, if the Ferraris get things in tune, if the Mercedes do as well, they will absolutely be able to give Red Bull a run for their money. Will it be a stomp Max Verstappen's nothing now? No, he's going to be a great driver, but there are plenty of people postured to challenge Red Bull. Do they have the work cut out for them? Absolutely. Is it very possible we just see Red Bull doing the exact same thing they did the last couple of years? Absolutely. But there are people out there who can give him a run for the money. So I'm really looking forward to it. But also, I'm a huge Max fan. Again, have been since before he was winning. So I'll still wear my Max jerseys as long as he's in the cockpit. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time for another bio. Cheers.